Hey y'all, welcome back to Leslie's Mature Makeup and Beauty. Today I thought we'd do kind of a get ready with me, trying some new products. And I'll just kind of talk about everything as I go through them so that I'm not sitting here talking about everything we're going to use and then talk about it again when I use it, just to try to save us a little bit of time. The first thing I'm going to use is the new Natasha Denona Retro palette. This is a spendier palette. It retails for $65. I have never used anything from Natasha Denona. This was my first purchase from the brand. So I did sign up for emails on the website, so I got 10% off. Made me feel a little bit better. But this color story, just right up my alley. Now I did try to use this the other day, and I had a little bit of trouble blending this deep shade over here, Groove. And I thought maybe it had something to do, with my eye primer or something like that. It was just pretty patchy, so we're going to try again today. And I've already got my eye primer on, and I went ahead and, I don't normally do this, but I thought since I had a little bit of trouble blending that deeper shade that I would set my eye primer with a little bit of loose powder. And I just used the, just throwing stuff in the floor, It Cosmetics Bye Pores. I do have a couple of new loose powders I want to give a try because I would like to find something that is more affordable to use on a regular basis. But yeah, so we're just going to jump into this Natasha Denona Retro palette. There are some cream to powders, some cream to mattes, some shimmers. I think there's a duochrome in here. I think Psychedelic, this center shade, which is so pretty. I think it's a duochrome, but we're just going to hop into this and get started. I know I said I put my eye primer on, but I just used my NYX Ultimate Eye Primer. And the outer packaging of the Retro palette does have your shade descriptors as far as what's just a matte, what's duochrome, shimmer, cream to powder, cream to matte, all that stuff is noted on there. My first impression, I was not impressed with this palette. I was actually quite disappointed. Disappointed enough that since I ordered directly from the website, I went to see what the return policy was, and I cannot return it, so I am going to make it work. And I think today I'm going to go in with nude mauve in the in my crease as my transition shade. And I believe this one is just a matte. Yeah, I think it's just a matte shadow. No, it's cream to matte, which I'm not sure what that means exactly, but, and I do have hooded eyes, so what I'm going to do is kind of put my chin up and look down into my mirror and place this where I want it. I want to put it a little higher than where my actual crease is, otherwise you'll never see it. And like I said, the other day when I used this shade, I did use this shade in my transition, and it did fine. So, and I am always tapping off my brush. You just don't hear it because I try to tap off just on my arm so that I don't damage my brushes or my ferrules. And I'm going to drag a little of that, kind of drag it on down the lid here. And just kind of set up a nice base. And this shade does come off deeper on the eye than it looks in the pan, which is fine with me. It's still light enough for a transition color. For my skin tone anyway. And always as I'm going, I take a break every so often and just look straight into my mirror with my eyes open to see how my placement's looking so that I can adjust as needed. And I have this eye over here is a little droopier than the other, so it always looks, a tad bit different. But this palette just kind of sucked me in. The color story is right up my alley. I love all of these kind of purples and berries and mauves, and you always hear people raving about this shadow formula, so I thought I would give it a try. And like I said, the first time I tried it, I was not impressed. But I'm hoping today will go a little bit better. And I think I'll leave that transition and all of that there for now. And I'm going to get kind of a smaller, fluffier. I mean, it's still fluffy, but it's a little more tapered. This is a Sigma Duo Fiber Blend brush. And I'm going to go into the color Apart, which is this kind of deeper brownie looking shade. And I want to say, yes, this is a matte dark taupe cream to powder. So I'm going to take just a tiny bit on the end of my brush and again tap it off, and you can see I've got just the smallest amount, and I'm going to place that over in this outer corner. And from what, I've watched some tutorials and listened to some people talk about her formulas, and they say these cream to powders, you're supposed to place them and then blend. So that's which that's normally kind of what I do anyway. I do the same thing over on the other eye. And so far, there's just not really, I'm not seeing the hype, really. I can't say that this formula is any better than, my ColourPop palettes or Tarte palettes or any of those, any of the other palettes that I've, both drugstore and high-end. I can't say this is really knocking my socks off. So even that seems to be coming off a little patchy. I'll try to build that up just a little bit, just to get a little bit more intensity out here in this outer corner. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's still just a little on the patchy side. There's a little kick up in the pan, but so far, yeah, there is a little fallout from that darker shade, which is fine. That's why I always usually do my eyes first and then move on to my foundation. It almost feels like the more you blend, it just kind of gets a little patchier. I think I'm going to leave that there. Now I think I'm going to take a little bit of mod up here in the top. It looks white in the pan, but it's got a little bit of a kind of pinky, undertone to it. You can't really see it, but I'm just going to take that all kind of in that brow bone area and kind of diffuse that. Get a little fluffy. Kind of help diffuse my crease color and my transition shade into that brow bone, just to kind of soften that transition so it's not a harsh line there. Alright, I think we'll leave that there. And then for our shimmer shade, I think Glitz, it's a pinky. I believe that's the duochrome. Then we've got Jade, Psychedelic, Helio. The shimmers I noticed were gorgeous. This is Glitz, Jude, Psychedelic, and Helio. I think I may go in with Jude. It's this kind of, it's almost got looks like it's got a little bit of a green shift to it. They call it just a metallic warm taupe, but since I've already got this on my ring finger, I'm going to go ahead and apply that to the lid. Just kind of tapping. And we'll do the same thing on the other eye. And I'm keeping that mostly on this inner half, but I am kind of marrying it into that outer corner shade. That's a very pretty shimmer. Feels creamy and smooth. And I think I may take a little bit of Psychedelic, which I think is more of a topper type shade. Yeah, they describe it as a warm baby pink with multicolor sparks topper. I'm going to take that on my pinky finger and kind of put that right, focus it more just kind of this inner corner area. Might should have used my other. Oh, now that is a pretty shade. I did get that all under my eyeball here. I'm just taking a makeup wipe and I'm just going to clean up any fallout and kind of clean up the edge of the eye there. Just to kind of sharpen that edge and give my eyes a little bit more of a upturned look or lifted look. So I think for now I'm going to leave the eyes there and we'll move on to foundation. I will say it did apply better today setting the eyeshadow primer. I can't talk apparently. With that powder than it did, just going in right on top of my eye primer, which is what I normally do. I feel like for $65 I shouldn't really have to try this hard. So, I'm going to keep playing with it, and see. I'll let you know kind of my full thoughts on it maybe later, at the end of the month or something. And the next thing I've got is I did pick up the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Foundation. This was featured in the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. I think it regularly retails for $45. Yes, but I paid $22.50. I think the shade might be just a fuzz light for me. But, you know, we're fixing to get into winter, and even though I do wear sunscreen every day, sometimes my body, or not sometimes, my body, you can see, is a little bit darker than my face. But we'll see. I got the color Fresco, I think, 2C3 Fresco. And this is supposed to be a full coverage. It's pretty liquidy. You can see it kind of runs right down the palette. Full coverage hydrating makeup. It's got SPF of 45, but you know that we can't count on our foundation for our SPF because I'm looking for my primer. You're not going to put enough foundation on to get the full benefit of that SPF 45. When I wore this the other day, I noticed, you know, probably 4 or 5 hours in, I started to get a little bit oily in this area. So I am going to use my Maybelline blur stick just on these areas where I have the biggest, most noticeable pores and texture. Which I didn't find that it emphasized any of my texture or made anything look, you know, worse than it does in real life, so. But I thought I would try it today with this primer and see. Pretty sure I still had glitter on my fingers from swiping those shimmers, so I'm going to be a little extra shiny today. But we're just going to go with it, because why not? Let me try to wipe that off before I get it anywhere else. Can't believe I just did that. That's fantastic. But, you know, I'll just be a little sparkly. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And this is, I believe, if I didn't say so, supposed to be full coverage, looks flawless and smooth, stays color true, all day long wear. It's supposed to, you know, cover redness and diffuse the look of imperfections. And I'm going to use my Stands Out sponge. Still been loving this sponge. It is just so soft and nice. Yeah, you can see that color is a little bit on the light side for me, but we'll bronze it up and I'll drag some down the neck and we'll make it work. Seem to wear pretty well, but I mean, honestly, I think my WetnWild tinted hydrator is just as good, and it's like $6. You know how it is. You kind of get sucked in. You keep hearing people talk about all these things that are just so wonderful, and you want to give them a try, and then really, stuff from the drugstore, a lot of the times, depending on what it is just as good to me. I'm going to go in with a little bit of my Neutrogena color corrector. Now, I do have a concealer today, too, a new one that I've really been enjoying. It is higher end, but I've noticed they do seem to have sales often, and you know, with the holidays coming up, you know, you may be able to grab this on sale if you want to. But it is the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. I got mine in the shade, I think it's just Ivory C. But this has been the best concealer I've ever tried, honestly. I've used it quite a few times. Excuse me. It doesn't settle into my lines or wrinkles. It doesn't make my under eyes look more dry. It provides, I would say, about a medium coverage. But that's why I went in with my color corrector, and then I'm going to go in with this concealer. It blends out beautifully. It gives a real natural finish. I have really enjoyed this, and I actually got mine at 30% off. I am on the on their email list, and they were having a friends and family sale. I think that's what they called it. So I got this for 30% off. I think it retails for $29. Yes, $29. But to me, it's worth the $29 because, you know, you're not going to use a ton of it. You know, a little goes a long way, and it has just been, like I said, the best concealer I have ever tried. I'm just kind of tapping and patting. And I wish I had kind of a different camera setup so you guys could see just how pretty that sits under the eyes. I mean, this is literally the best concealer I have ever tried. And I have tried quite a few. But this is just, like I said, it's kind of a medium coverage. So if you have like lots and lots, or very heavy, very dark, dark circles, you know, you may want, this may not be enough coverage for you. But mine are not too bad most of the time. And this, just the way it wears is just beautiful, 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 beautiful. And I know usually in the like I probably said this 5 times, at the holidays, you know, a lot of places will have sales and things that you know, you can kind of get a discount on different items. But that is just, I just love that. It's just literally one of the better concealers that I've ever used. So now that I've got my concealer on, I'm going to go and do a little something under the eyes here. I'm going to take my little pencil brush. No, let's not do that. I'm going to do this little angled brush. And I'm going to go into nude mauve. And run that under the lash line just a little bit. No, I don't want to use that. Then I'm going to go into Opart, that deeper brown shade that we used, and do that just on this outside. Like probably the outer third of my lower lash line. And again, I'm kind of connecting that to that upper. This pencil brush on my Sigma switch, and I'm going to take a little bit of I think I'm going to go in with Psychedelic, that pink topper that's in the center of the palette. This one right here, it's just blinding you guys. This right here, and do just on kind of that, do a little inner corner. Ooh, or maybe glitz. Let's go with Psychedelic. Sorry, I've got a little goo. That's not really doing what I want it to. So let's try. Let's do a little glitz. Yeah, I think that'll do. And then let's trying to decide if I want to do a little eyeliner. I don't always do eyeliner. It's kind of a kind of hit and miss for me. Yeah, I think I may skip the eyeliner today, save us a little time, but I am going to go in with my Essence Extreme Lasting 16-hour eye pencil and just do a little in the lower waterline. Here is Silky Nude. And we'll go ahead and put on some mascara, and I am going to use my Lancome Cils Booster and the Lancome Lashy Doll. Next thing I have to play with is a new cream bronzer. I didn't know Physicians Formula even made a cream bronzer. There's 2 shades. I got the deepest shade, which is mocha. It's not that deep. The other one was something like latte or toffee or something of that nature. So if you have a deeper skin tone, I don't know that's going to work for you. But this one's supposed to be infused with, supposed to be ultra blendable and buildable. It's got some different oils and things in it. And the instructions on this one is to warm up on the back of the hand and then apply the stick under the cheekbone, below the hairline, along the jawline, and blend it out with your fingertips. I actually used my e.l.f. Just going to clean my hands off again. My e.l.f. Putty Primer applicator to apply it with the other day, and that worked well. But I just warmed it up on the back of my hand and then dipped the brush in on the back of my hand, so I think that's what I'll do today. Just because that worked. And I don't know, it makes me nervous to put the stick right on my face. And I'll show you guys what it looks like kind of warmed up on my hand. You can see it's not super deep, so I don't know that anybody with a deeper skin tone would be able to use this. That's one of those things that Physicians Formula does not do well, is their shade range. And then I'm going to try to keep everything up a little higher today. I found that when I sit down here to do my makeup with you guys, I tend to take everything lower than I normally would. I don't know if it's just because I don't normally sit down to do my makeup. A lot of times I'll just stand at my bathroom sink. So I don't know if it's just that throws me off, but you know, I do love my cheek products. But I found that this wore well. And it is, you can see it's easy to apply and blend. And I think this color works well for my skin tone. But like I said, if you were any deeper, you know, you would just be out of luck. I like a little bronzer on my nose and my chin just to kind of give everything that kind of bronzy look. And for blush, before I do blush, I'm going to do a little bit of powder. I've got this e.l.f. HD setting powder. It's just the color sheer. And I'm going to kind of, and this is actually, it's got a little turny thing for your sifter. And you know, e.l.f. is definitely an affordable makeup brand. So I'm hoping this will be a good powder. I'm just going to take my Sigma powder brush, dip in the lid, tap it off, and then just kind of press that in those areas that kind of that center of my face that tend to get a little shiny. And then what's left, I'll take over the rest of my face. And this is actually very pretty powder. I'm not sure that it blurs the pores quite like my It powder. But it's not bad. Actually, it looks pretty good. Which I'll keep playing with that with different, different foundations and things just to see. It'll take me a minute to kind of get an idea of whether I really like that or not. And then for blush, I think I might try this Essence blush in the color Believing. I've used this before, but it's a nice mauve, kind of mauve tone. I thought that would be pretty with this kind of mauve eye that we've got. If you haven't tried these Essence blushes, I think they're fantastic. They're like $2.99. They're super pigmented. They look really pretty on the cheeks. A little goes a long way. Y'all know I like a little blush everywhere. But I really enjoy those Essence blushes. The formula's great. The pigmentation is great. They're just super pretty, I think. And I do have some stuff on the way. I'm going to do a full face of Essence. I don't know if that'll be end of this week or maybe next week, because I do have, tomorrow will be 4 months that I've been doing my skincare stuff. So I am going to do later this week, do an update, try to put some before and after photos up for you guys and kind of show you what I use and all of that good stuff. So we'll put on a little bit of lips here, and the eyes are kind of dark, so we might try a little bit of a dark lip anyway. Why not? You know what? We didn't put on any highlighter. We need a little highlight. I've got this Milani baked highlighter. I've had this for a minute in the color Dolce Pearl. I've been enjoying it. It's not, you can go in with a pretty light hand, and it's not super blinding. It kind of gives more of a natural. Now, if you go heavy-handed, it can look a little glittery, but so that's our final look. I don't know if you guys, how the lighting and all is doing. You can see. I will try to go outside. Let's see if we can turn this down just a little bit. Go outside and take a look. Or let you guys take a look. I had a little bit easier time with that Natasha Denona palette today. I'm going to have to keep playing with that. But for $65, I shouldn't have to work this hard. So if I were you, I would probably skip that one. I know Alter Ego often does. They will do dupes. I know they duped her Glam palette, and I don't own it, but from what I understand, it is pretty spot on. So, and I think those are pretty reasonable priced, or more reasonable priced than Natasha Denona, more like in that $16, $20 range, something like that. And I may, just for poops and giggles, I may pick that one up if they dupe it and just, compare and see, maybe I might like their formula better, because like I said, I love the color story, but that formula is just, it's a little hard to work with. Like I said, I had an easier time today, but I find if I blend those deeper colors, if you try to blend them too much, they start getting patchy, which is, for $65, I think it shouldn't. But I'm going to go outside, take a little bit of footage in natural light, let you kind of see. I think everything you can see a little bit better in outdoor light. The foundation, I wore it the other day. It wears well. I've been wearing that concealer for a while. Love it. Like I said, the bronzer, the blush, those hold up well. But I'm going to take you guys outside and we'll take a little look. Hey, y'all. I thought I would step outside and let you guys kind of look at everything in natural light. I think the foundation looks pretty good. You can see the eyes here. You know, like I said, I did have a little bit better time today working with it than I did previously. But, you know, for $65, I feel like it should be a little bit easier to work with than it is. Of course, I'll keep playing with it and I'll update you guys in a future video. But thanks for watching. Bye, y'all.